Hey now everybody, Rob here, Rob School of Music, for a special second interview we have this week. We're going to be talking to an amazing guitar player named Sophie Burrell. I see Caitlin jumping on down there. Check her out. I want a lot of our female students here at the school to see that it's still okay to shred, guys, okay? Shredding has nothing to do with gender, race, creed, none of the above. We all can shred, right? And this is going to be a really killer interview. She's also a PRS artist like myself, so we'll talk some PRS guitars. Yeah, so this is going to be killer. I'm going to bring her right on, and we're going to make it happen, guys. Here we go.
Hi.
Hi there. How's it going?
How's it going?
Good.
Good, thanks. How are you?
Good.
Good.
So, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
Awesome. So what time is it where you are?
It's currently 6 p.m.
Well, you're in the future. Cool.
Yeah. You're in the past.
Yeah, well, it's not much better.
No.
So we're a music school. We teach students all ages, all skill levels. We were teaching in person, and then obviously with everything going on, we switched everything online. So we've been doing these interviews with all these different amazing musicians just to try and have some connection with the outside world, you know, and bring our students in and let everyone kind of feel like we're all in this one community together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
So I saw you at the PRS Experience online thing, and I said, "Holy crap! I need to have a conversation with this person because she freaking shreds, and that's so inspiring."
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah. So how did you get started playing? You know, what's your story, your journey?
So originally, I've told this story a couple of times, so I always feel like I'm repeating myself, but it's important. Originally, when I was 5 years old, I watched the movie The School of Rock, and pretty much from then on out, I was like, I'm gonna play guitar, and I just want to be like that. And that's kind of when I decided that I wanted to, I wanted to be a musician, and literally ever since then, like, that's literally all my life has been music, and that's pretty much it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. That was a great movie. Jack Black is hysterical in that.
Yeah, it's great. It's good.
So a big question that I try and kind of talk to everyone about, and the answer is always a little bit different. A lot of our students are younger. They've only been playing for a year or two or three, and a big
Mm-hmm.
So I was just curious, nerves and anxiety, stage fright, those are things that a lot of younger players, I guess all players, deal with.
Mm-hmm.
Connection lag. It'll correct itself over time. Don't worry.
There we go. Right. Sorry, it lagged
Yeah.
out there.
Yeah.
Right. So was that tips and tricks for stage fright and anxiety?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Honestly, breathing more than anything, making sure you're breathing right before you go on stage. I mean, I haven't played a live show in a little while now, and I probably won't
Right.
get to for a little while now, given the COVID situation. But I don't know, I used to get really nervous, but not bad nervous, because I really enjoyed what I was doing. And more than anything, like, as time goes on and you play more and more shows, it gets easier. At least that's what I found. But it's like, rather than seeing it as something really scary, see it as like, well, you're doing what you love. Like,
Right.
this is what you want to do. You want to go out on stage and just rock out, have fun. More than anything, just have fun. Because it is fun. It's really fun.
It is fun, right? I always say to like younger players, you know, you're nervous because you care. That's a good thing, you know?
Yeah, yeah, that's exactly it.
Um, so very cool. So School of Rock was big in the beginning for you. Is there any particular album or maybe a live show or something that you were like that?
Um, that's a tough question.
Well,
Yeah, probably a little bit later on, maybe. I've got a couple of live DVDs from one's from Slash, and it was the live at Stoke-on-Trent gig. And then the other is Alter Bridge live at Wembley, which I was actually at in the audience.
wow.
And those two, like after, well, obviously being at the live gig for Alter Bridge, that's one thing. And then like just coming home and watching that, reliving that experience, I was like, oh my God, like I want to be on that stage one day doing exactly what they're doing. That was when I was a bit older. I think I was like a teenager at that point, like 12 to 13, sort of, when I saw those DVDs and when I went to that show. That was literally ages ago now. It seems like yesterday, but it was years ago.
Yeah. I think that's a cool thing with like music. Like it, you know, I'm 37 years old, but I interact with a lot of, you know, teenagers and 20-year-olds, and I'm constantly reliving the same stories and the same experiences because it's through their scopes. And then I take that energy, and then when I go on tour or I do a gig, it's like I'm right ready to go again because
Yeah.
it's a circle, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. So what got you into the PRS guitars? How did that happen?
That was Mark Tremonti's doing. He's one of my
Yeah.
biggest influences, of course. And after seeing, you know, oh my God, he plays guitars with the birds on the frets. What is that? So then I went and tried a few, and I then got my PRS Tremonti signature. And from then on out, it just like sold it for me. I knew that I always wanted to play PRS guitars pretty much after that. And now I've got three
Nice.
now. So yeah. That was that sort of introduction. Well, it wasn't just Mark as well. It was a couple of different heroes of mine, like the guys in Blackstone Cherry as well. I saw them using PRS for a long time, and then more and more and more people were using PRS, and I was like, this is what I like. This is what I want.
Yeah, they're fantastic guitars. They're great people too. I started working with them in 2009, and
Oh,
then
wow.
like after I transitioned out of touring and then eventually opened up the music school, like they sent me this huge care package with a big giant poster to put on the walls and like lanyards to give all the kids and picks and like so many things to like. And like when you're a younger player, like PRS, it's this unattainable thing, you know, prior to the SEs and stuff. So
Yeah.
amazing, good people, great guitars, very cool.
Yeah, agreed. So lovely as well, just friendly, real friendly.
Right, like accessible. Like you
Yeah.
wouldn't. I was at NAMM this past year, and I hadn't gone in a while because I hadn't been touring, so I didn't see a reason to really, you know, fly across the country. And it was like yesterday. Like everyone was like, "Hey, it's so warm, so cool."
Yeah, definitely. I haven't actually like personally met, you know, the team yet. I was supposed to,
Right.
when I was supposed to go to experience PRS, but no,
Right.
I've only ever met them over the phone. But they're still so lovely, and hopefully at some point I'll actually get to, you know, come over to the States and meet everybody.
I'm
For
sure.
real.
Yeah, 100%. We will be okay. That will happen. We're gonna get through this.
Yeah, I hope so. I really hope so.
Do you have any like? All right, this question I always mess up the words, the order of it, so
That's
try and
fine.
understand.
No
Like I've
worries.
said it like 20 times, and I still just can't get my. So, a lot of our guitar students, they are very apprehensive to learn any sort of music theory. And, you know, with tabs and chord charts, you can kind of bypass that to a certain degree. And even myself in my playing, prior to college, I was like, I don't need that. So we try and do this like hybridized, kind of stole it from Steve Vai a little bit, this guitar theory concept. What is your opinion on knowing theory as a guitarist? And there's no wrong answer, so it's okay.
Well, being a guitar teacher as well, I know the importance of it, and I think it is really, really important. And everyone's like, theory,
Right.
like, well, I don't want to do that. But in truth, all it is there to do is to help you, one, make the most of your instrument and your skills, and two, to understand what it is you're actually doing. It's the reasoning behind everything. So if you look at it like that, that is actually a tool that's there to help you. Yes, it's a bit like maths for music, and it can be tedious depending on what you're doing. But in relation to guitar theory, that's not as bad as like textbook theory. I've done both.
Right.
And I think it's so important because it makes you way more knowledgeable as a musician. You're way more employable that way. And you're going to write better songs. You're going to learn a lot faster. You know, like the benefits are endless. It is worth it. It's so worth learning your theory properly. Definitely.
100%.
Yeah.
Beautifully said. You said
Yeah.
a key word there, employable. I think that's very important because there's the ceiling, and to break through that ceiling, I think having a basic understanding of theory is going to make you so much more attractive to, you know, whatever gig you're trying to get on, or tour or session.
100%.
Awesome.
Definitely.
All right, well then I'm gonna ask some nerdy theory questions. What's your favorite mode?
Don't get too nerdy on me. I'm gonna like get this wrong.
No quiz questions. Like,
no, good. That's fine.
no. I hate that, man. I was on with another world-renowned musician a couple weeks ago, and we started getting into theory stuff, and he started asking me stuff back, and I was like, "Oh, the connection's breaking up. I can't hear you. What?"
That's amazing. I'll have to pull that on you if you start telling me.
No. Easy. Like, what's your favorite mode? That's an easy one.
Okay. I have two favorite modes. I'm going to pick one major and one minor mode.
Fair.
My favorite major mode is Lydian, and my favorite minor mode is Dorian.
Those are the right answers. There you go.
Yeah.
Perfect. I don't think there's another answer you can give as a guitarist.
No, definitely not.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right, so a lot of the students that come here, and I love this, like I don't like to say best, that's the worst word, the students, a handful of students that like get it the quickest happen to be a bunch of younger female students, and I love it. These girls shred and they get it, and I have a lot of them watching today because I was like, you got to check this girl out, like you're gonna fall in love. She is what you could be, you know. How do you avoid all the bullshit that probably comes with being out there and dudes being assholes and just the nonsense? Like, do you just take the high road, or social media people like comments and creeps, and you know, that's a big question, I know, but
yeah. It's a really tough one. It's very, very easy to let the hate and the sexist comments and all the bullshit, as you said.
Right. Yeah.
It's very easy to let that eat at you, and you have to really try hard to understand the reasoning behind why people might be saying these things. And at the end of the day, I'm like, there's like a cycle, like a mental process I go through. First of all, I'm like, what a dick.
Right.
This guy is horrible. And then I'm like, I rage on it for a little bit. And then I'm like, actually, I feel really sorry for them, that they're likely being nasty to someone who's probably young enough to be their daughter as well.
Right.
And you kind of have to think about like, how bad must they be feeling about themselves to actually be wasting time on being horrible to someone else. Like, I've never understood that thought process, that you would actually take time out of your day to say something horrible. Like, what the hell is, like, I just don't understand it. I would never do that. It's fine to have an opinion, but you don't always need to share it. I mean, you can, but you don't need to. And then as far as like the sexism goes and stuff like that, I've been relatively lucky, particularly in person. Like, it's really not happened much at all. Over the internet is a different story. You get the whole like girls can't play guitar thing, which is obviously stupid, and everybody knows that's not true. But ultimately, I feel like it's really important to just rise above it, and you have to like just assure yourself and be like confident in yourself. A lot of it comes from just being like happy with yourself and giving yourself enough credit, because I'm like, I can play the guitar. Like, I've been doing this since I was like a kid. So who is this random person who's never even met me to tell me that I can't? So you kind of have to, it's hard. You have to really try hard to see kind of the both sides of the story, like why they might be saying that. Are they actually just jealous? But it's difficult. I mean, it still goes to say, like, I could have 100 nice comments, and then if one person's playing up, that is the comment I will remember all day.
Right.
It's just, it's the way. And you also, like, another way of dealing with it, like, some people reply, sometimes I reply. If I can think of something witty enough, then I'll reply.
Boom.
Yeah, so that's sometimes, I mean, you can choose how to approach it, or you can block them straight away. Or you can just ignore it. Like, there's a few different ways of dealing with it. You have to ultimately decide what's best for you. But just know that you know yourself best. You know you're trying hard. You know your skills. And the person who's sat there trying to put you down is likely just because they don't like themselves, or they're jealous of you, or, you know, they haven't achieved all the things that they wanted to. So they're going to get really bitter at you because you're doing better than they were, or you're doing what they wanted to do. But ultimately just rise above it, because you're the one who's kicking the ass, so it's fine.
There you go.
Yeah.
Perfect. I love that. Thank you. And I see some of the girls in here that I wanted to hear that. So thank you for that.
Yeah. You're welcome.
And it's universal, man. Like I've been on gigs before. My girlfriend is the singer in my band, and she's up front, and dudes get handsy and weird in ways that, you know, on the street they wouldn't do that, but now you're on the stage and you're this star, and they think they can put their arm around you or stuff like that, and you just gotta look at it and, like, what are you doing? Like, you know that's wrong. You know that you're making her feel uncomfortable. And then exactly like you said, what's wrong with you that you think that's okay? That was really well done. 100%. Thank you.
I mean, like, at the same time though, like I said, I've been quite lucky in person. The last band I was in, it was like a long-term thing for a few years. And all of the guys there were like my brothers. And normally at the end of shows, we'd go out together. And no one would ever try anything, because if they're going to try and, you know, be inappropriate to me, they're going to get 4 guys on them being like, what the hell do you think you're doing? So I was never taken advantage of like that. And only recently have I just turned 21 as well. If they, I mean, maybe some people didn't think it was appropriate because they're like, is she over 18? Or can I get put in jail for this? You know, as far as that, because, you know, and when I joined that band, I was only 17. So for a little while, it was really, like, it could have been really bad if someone had tried that. But as far as on the internet goes, people say stuff all the time that they would never even dream of saying in person because it's so inappropriate. I have had some gross messages, and it happens like almost on the daily. I get very inappropriate messages. People just thinking it's okay to say that. People thinking, oh, well, okay, right, this is what I don't understand. Why they think it's okay to say something really, really vile, and that, like, do they think I'm not going to see that? Because I read my DMs, you know, I look at my messages, so, you know, I don't even want to go into it. It's crazy stuff they say. But what is wrong with you in the head to say that to a stranger you've never met and think that's okay?
Right.
Like,
and what result are they expecting? Like, you say something vile or perverse, and they're expecting someone to be like, yeah, that sounds awesome. Here's my number. Like, what are you doing? It's horrible. It's horrible.
That's
I'm so sorry.
I've quizzed someone on it before. It was one. I get these a few times. Like, can I ask you a question? And this person would not leave me alone, and I'm like, this could go anywhere. So I replied, and I was like, yeah, what is it? And it was something very inappropriate. And I said, well, obviously it's going to be no. And I said, just out of interest, why did you think that was a good idea? And then he was like, yeah, I'm not sure. Now you put it like that. It was a stupid thing to say. And I'm like, yeah, don't say that to people again. You know, but
that's awesome.
People are strange.
Yes, but that's wonderful advice. So thank you so much for that.
That's okay.
All right, so let's go back to gear. Ready? So you're on a desert island, and you can have 1 amp and 1 guitar and 1 pedal. What would it be?
Oh goodness. 1 amp, 1 guitar, and 1 pedal. Is this out of my gear or random gear?
Anything you want. Anything you want.
That's my custom 24. So it'd be my PRS as my guitar. Amp wise, I don't know what I said. Can it be any gear because I'm going to choose my own gear. My EVH 5150, 100 watt stack, and then pedal wise, my tuner, because like, I mean, I can tune by ear, but if it's getting real hot, you know, it's my guitar's going to go out of tune all the time. So I'm going to want my tuner there.
Perfect answers. Perfect answers. But we get the tune when I ask that question, tuner we get a lot. And then the next one I'll say, well, what's your favorite piece of gear? And this one guy, Anand Rubinstein, he plays with Alicia Keys. He said, my ears are my favorite piece of gear.
Yeah.
Because
without those.
Yeah, I don't know what it sounds like.
Yeah, for sure. Could be anything.
Right. So you play the EVH, fantastic amp, always has been. I mean, Eddie Van Halen is like, you know. What are your thoughts on modeling stuff? I just got a Axe Effects recently, and I hated it until I played through that. So what do you think on that stuff?
Until recently, I've been very, very against the idea. But at the same time, I've had a lot of things go wrong on stage with tubes blowing up, stuff like that. And also, imagine if you had to go on a plane and stuff. It's gonna be difficult to get all your gear over there. I know people do it all the time, but I'm just thinking. And then I've seen with Kemper and stuff, you can have all of your tones on a USB stick, and you can go fly wherever and get a Kemper out there, and you're all set. And also tone-wise, like I've tried a couple of them, and if you do it right, and if you get the tones you want, like it can sound really awesome. So yes. I was very, very against until recently, and now I'm warming to the idea a little bit more.
Yeah, if you put the time in, I think you're totally right. A lot of people just want plug and play, and that's, I mean, that's not most amps. You can't just plug in, and you got to dial in the tone.
No. It takes me ages to get tones I like as well. And I'm not a very technical person, like with technology. So it would likely take me a while, but I've got a lot of friends that use Kemper and stuff like that, so I'm sure they could help.
Right.
Yeah.
You just gave me a funny memory. I remember when I was like 15, 16, me and my best friend, we started playing guitar together, and we would like literally spend like 10-hour blocks on Sundays tweaking our amps. And like literally like, does this sound better? And then turn it like, and you can't even notice the difference. A little, 5 or 5.02, which and like going back and forth,
No, seriously, like it can be that specific. Particularly like actually on my EVH, the volume is really, really sensitive. And I remember when I was in the band I was in, we both had EVHs, and to get the volume like level on stage, we'd literally like just poke it to move the dial. If you go like this, it will blow your head off. Like it's really, really sensitive. Yeah. So
that's the fun.
Yeah.
That's the thing that guitar players get. Like any of like the drummer or someone watching, they're like, "What?" I'm like, "No, it's a real thing." You just blow on the knob, and they're like, "Okay, it's loud enough."
Yeah, 100%. Honestly, it's so sensitive, so sensitive.
So you said some things have gone wrong on stage. What was the worst thing that happened, and how did you get through it?
Oh,
bad memories.
God, it had to be the time. Yeah, honestly, I basically missed our entire set on stage.
Wow.
Yeah, my amp, like I was playing, and then all of a sudden I had no sound, and I was like, okay, and we were like halfway through the second song in our set. It was right at the beginning, and it was only an opening slot, so we didn't have a massively long set. It was like 25 minutes or something. And anyway, I was like, right, okay, that's very, very strange. And I turned around, and like the light was still on my amp, so I still had power. I checked all of my cables. I was ripping out like pedals, all sorts, checking that it wasn't coming from like my power supply on the floor or anything like that. Was it my wireless? No. Plug direct into the amp? No. And I'm like, I ran out of ideas at that point. I was like, okay, well, now we're into song 4 in the set, and I don't know what's going on still. So in the end, what happened was someone from the headlining band ran on with his Marshall and just like took all my stuff away, and I just ended up plugging in direct into this Marshall. So that's when you really get tested as a musician, because I had no pedals, no boost, no tuner, no nothing, a random amp with tones that I hadn't set, that I don't even play. and I'm having to roll down my volume dial to get clean tones and everything.
Yeah.
Just dry, no delay, no reverb, no nothing. And obviously, it was kind of lucky that it was a short set in that sense, because I only had to get through another 2 songs and it was done, sort of thing. Oh my God. But I basically missed the whole show, and I stood there on stage, and there's pictures of me going, like, and there's videos of it as well. Yeah, it wasn't like, it was a very stressful experience, and very embarrassing, because it was like, full of, like, it was a big room packed full of people, and I'm like, great, I'm not even playing. And what had actually happened, I had 2 things go wrong with my amp. It was something to do, like, I think the tubes were biased too hot. Obviously, that wouldn't make your amp blow up on the spot. It wasn't that. But what had happened is a screw came loose in the motherboard and was rolling around. And every time it touched something, my amp would short circuit. And anyway, I took it home, and I was like, well, that's annoying. My amp works fine now I'm not on the stage.
Right.
And then it happened like 2 more times, and I was like, right, I've got to send this to HQ and get them to take a look at it, because something is really wrong here. Yeah, and it just turned out to be a very mischievous little screw rolling around, causing chaos.
Hey, but at least it was something that you would have never been able to figure out on the fly. Like, it wasn't just a cable that you missed. Like,
Yeah,
you take solace in that. I had it.
I spent an hour the next day going through every single cable and bit, like, on my whole rig, and nothing was wrong.
Oh gosh, I'm getting sweaty even imagining in that situation.
It was horrible, honestly. And the rest of the guys are looking at me like, what's going on? And I'm like,
right.
I don't know. Yeah.
See, I think stories like that are so important to share, though, because when you're coming up, you think it's always going to be perfect. And again, with all the nerves and anxiety, I always tell this story. I was doing a couple summers back, a big summer festival thing, a couple thousand people. We were like second to headliner, sound checked all day. Everything was perfect, dialed in, all the pedals. I had a switching system. So it's like one of those Boss ones. So you hit one button and it turns on different pedals.
That's good.
So I didn't have my amp switcher pedal with me. I had this flawless pedal board. First song, I go to hit the solo. I put my foot on the wah pedal, and my foot slips off. I was wearing boots trying to be a rock star. And when my foot slipped off, it took the Velcro off the wah pedal and stuff disconnected. So I quick plugged it back in, but nothing was working. So same situation. I had to yank everything out, plug into the front of the amp. I'm riding my volume knob all night long. Everything was programmed. Everything, all the scenes within the songs, the worst. But it makes us better, because you got to rise, it's all really here.
Like,
that's where all the tone is.
Yeah, yeah, precisely. And also, like, you need to have it happen to be prepared for it happening. And I think I dealt with it really well. I was like, this is unfortunate. Whereas some people might do an Axl Rose or something, like throw their
totally.
Stuff on the
Oh, panic. Yeah.
You have to be professional, because what's going to be worse, a video arising of you just like slowly trying to work through your gear and find out what's wrong, or a video of you like throwing your shit all over the place, so you've got to remember there's people watching, and they'll remember what happened there.
Yeah,
but yeah, I don't know, it's funny to look back on, because it was literally one screw that ruined my life that day. But now every time I go on stage, is that little thought in my head like, will something happen today?
Oh yeah, you get like PTSD from it.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and I've also had my tubes blow on stage before. That was a fun one. I was playing, and we were right at the end of a big set, first show of the year, like 2nd of January, something like that. And it got to our last set, and I hit my boost for my end solo, and I was like, there's a noise here somewhere. I can hear a noise, and it was like this, but really loud, like a siren. And I then turned off my boost, and it kind of like quietened down a little bit, obviously. And then just before the encore, I was like, don't start, not yet, because I need to just figure this out. And it was still screaming at me. And it turned out the vacuum in one of my power tubes had gone, and it had all this white dust in it. But that was a very unpleasant noise. When your tubes go, for sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh
yeah,
my gosh, it's the worst. I'm gonna be all shooken up all day thinking of these
stories.
stories.
Yeah, I know. It's anxiety just thinking about it.
I'm trying not. There's nonsense in these comments down here. I'm sure. Don't look down there. You just get annoyed by it.
I'm seeing some strange comments.
I see one of them is a student here, and he's just like saying the most absurd thing. So he's going to get a fun text message later from me.
Oh, nice one.
Yeah.
You've been outed now.
Oh yeah. I'll say it right. Jeremy, stop being an ass. I'll say it right now, so everyone sees it. Yeah. I'm that kind of teacher.
Nice. The best kind.
What is a practice routine for you? You know, like how often are you playing? How are you breaking down the playing? And while you answer that, I'm going to turn on this light because I forgot to turn the light on. My face is all dark, so I can hear you. I'm just stepping away.
Perfect, but my practice routine. So it used to be very hardcore. I used to practice like 5 hours a day. That is not a thing anymore. Bear in mind, I was 14, 15, 16 at this point. So I would go to school and then come home and play until I went to bed. And then you become an adult.
Nice.
And then you don't have any time anymore. That's a lie. I have time sometimes. But my practice routine used to be like a few hours of drilling to a metronome, just exercises, nice. Technique. Metronome became my bestest friend ever. And then I would go on to like learn a solo or play a song or something like that, do some covers, whatever. Or recording, like whatever it was. But these days it's like whenever I'm practicing, it's probably for a reason. So for example, if I'm songwriting or if I'm writing a solo to feature on someone's song, or if I'm learning something for a YouTube video or an Instagram video, it's usually for a reason. I don't get to sit and drill, anymore, unfortunately, because I actually quite like doing that, but I don't have as much time on my side anymore, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, I still practice, but it's more like doing rather than sitting and practicing, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it's still playing. I always try and say to anyone, like, if you have a guitar in your hands, you're practicing. It's just different. It's all part of this big equation, and different slivers do different things. So you're doing a lot of writing for other people as well? Is that like
I do
features
a bit, like,
and
more writing for myself, but I do features. Yeah.
Very cool. I see people jumping in here. Tell her to play. Tell her to sing. She doesn't have to do that, guys. That's not what this is. She's just here to talk.
I do that all day, all the time.
Yeah. It's no obligation. Sorry. There's an entire Instagram page for all that stuff, but you have so many followers and you're drumming on there. You just put up a drum cover of a Tremonti tune, which I forgot that record for some reason. It just missed my radar.
No,
I downloaded it. Oh my gosh, it's amazing. So good.
Yeah. Yep. I love that lot. There again, like I have like probably 3 or 4 bands that are my all-time favorites that nothing can top that anymore, because that was what I was most influenced by when I was growing up, like as a teenager. And I feel like the stuff you listen to from ages 12 to 16 is the stuff that stays with you more than anything. Totally. For some reason.
Imprints.
Like I can't find anything that matches the feeling I get to when I listen to those anymore.
Yep.
So yeah, I vibe with it.
There's nothing wrong with that. It's so true. Like I'm far removed from 16, but I still listen to the same stuff, you know, like it was, like I said earlier, it takes you right back. It's a time machine. It really, really is. And it shapes you and it imprints on you, and it's timeless in the best way.
Definitely. I would agree. Yeah.
Cool. All right. What kind of pedals you into? A lot of our students are gearheads, because I'm a gearhead. We have a whole library of pedals that we prior to COVID, we let the students take them home and mess with them and stuff. So
cool. Honestly, my board is really simple, especially these days. I have delay, reverb, a tuner, sometimes a wah, sometimes chorus, sometimes a compressor. I think that's about it. Honestly, I really don't mess too much. It's probably going to be going into more like with what I'm recording now. I'm going to be needing to experiment a lot more with different tones and stuff like that. But brands wise, I use, what is it? Boss, MXR, and TC Electronic. I think that's the only 3 I kind of have brand wise. But recently I've just got the Boss GT 1000 effects processor board. And I've made some tones for that as well. There's a video coming out on that hopefully in the near future. So that is probably going to be my main source of all of my power once I finally get to, you know, head out again.
Is that the one that I was watching Anita Strauss rig rundown, and she was using a Boss, some kind of multi effects thing as like,
yeah, like Andy
yeah,
James. Everybody's
yeah,
got a hand on that one. Yeah, that's the one.
cool, very cool. I mean, it's so like, I think as guitar players, we fall down this rabbit hole of gear, and like I'm guilty of it, especially with Instagram. Like you search any kind of hashtag, you know, guitar pedals, and it's like these boards with these boutique pedals that like I don't think any musician in their right mind who's out on the road touring or playing, you know, the corner bar wants to have a pedal board with $5,000 worth of pedals on there that are going to sound pretty similar to a pedal board with $400 worth of pedals, you know?
Yeah,
but
definitely.
they are cool.
It gets
cool.
very expensive if you start to, rather than getting like one unit, if you get individual pedals, yeah, you can really rack up the price there.
Yeah.
My board was probably getting that way originally, maybe when I was at college and I was experimenting quite a lot. My board got rather expensive at that point. Yeah, but also for the sake of how tidy, like it's nice to have it all in one place.
Sure. And it's like whatever, like the flavor of the week. Like a couple years back, everyone was into the Strymon stuff, and it sounds fantastic.
Yeah.
But each pedal is like $400 to $500. You get your modulation, the reverb, and the delay. That's a guitar in pedals.
Yeah, definitely. I'm just reading some of these strange comments.
I know. If I ever like daze out, it's like I'm seeing some racial stuff and all kinds of really.
Is this your following or is this my following?
I think this may be yours, but there are a few of mine which I see are joining in. So it's just the perfect storm of a bunch of people being people. But that's how, I mean, whenever I do these, there's always some super strange stuff. And like, I like to keep the comments because sometimes people ask questions or things or interact because I have like my list of comments that's what I keep looking at or questions, but there's nothing of relevance down here.
There's some strange things. I don't know.
Yeah, but it's very international. I mean, there's people from all around the world watching right now. So thank you guys for being part of this.
Yeah.
All right, let me go to my list here.
Let's see.
All right. So, is there anything that you've learned on your? Oh, there's one here. Biggest obstacle. All right, this ties into my question. Perfect. So, is there anything you have learned so far in your journey musically, and/or any obstacles you've had to overcome that you can advise upon to beginners?
Oh, wait, hold on. Like playing wise, or just journey wise, like things that have happened.
Like however you want to do it. All answers are accepted.
I want to talk about something quite important, actually, and it's hard decisions that you have to make for your benefit to grow.
Sure.
I've made some horrible decisions that I haven't wanted to make, and you will have to do that. Like choosing to leave my last band was one of them. That was one of the hardest decisions I've ever had to make because I really loved playing with them. But ultimately, in the long run, because that was so time consuming, I wasn't able to do anything else. And so I was like, right, okay, well, this is where we're going to have to part ways because I want to do more stuff, but I can't because this is such a commitment. So that's one thing. You have to make really, really difficult decisions and break people's hearts, do stuff you don't want to have to do. Another thing, how do I word this without upsetting anybody? You have to be really wise out of nowhere and think really, shit, I just threw my pen on the floor. And you have to think really long and hard about offers that may come to you and be like, it's like signing a deal with the devil. Like, oh, you can have this amazing thing, but I will have your soul in return, you know? So certain things like contractual things, you've got to really think about what is actually involved in what you're signing up for, and do you really want that? And also, where do you see yourself in 2 years' time? Are you still going to want that thing that this contract is offering you?
Good.
So yeah, also being tied to things that you don't want to. That has happened to me quite a few times, actually. So yeah, it's the biggest obstacle to me, and I hate confrontation. I hate dealing with the business side of things. But you have to make really difficult decisions like that in order for you to progress and for your own well-being. So I think that's probably more so, that's been way harder to deal with than anything playing related for me. Because playing is a pleasure. I really enjoy playing guitar,
Right.
and I always have done. Whereas when it gets down to the nitty-gritty and you're having to deal with brands and businesses and labels and all that kind of stuff, you have to make some really, really hard decisions and tough calls. So yeah, you just got to look out for yourself, because it's a tough industry and people are always out to eat you.
Yes, that's tremendous advice, really. All of the teachers, actually, technically, that work within my organization, they're all still people who are touring or recording or writing. So the students see us as, "Whoa, it's my teacher, but he's gone for a month because he's on the road, or he can't teach these, or I can go see him at this gig," or whatever it is. So they envision, I guess rightfully so, that this life of music is amazing, it's fun, and I never want to sound jaded, but it's work. Like, get ready
Really
to
hard
miss
work.
you're gonna miss your family, you're gonna miss holidays. I did a gig on Christmas Day one time. Like,
Yeah.
it's the life.
Definitely. I don't think people actually understand the amount that is involved in committing to being a musician. Put it this way, I'm self-employed as well. I work 7 days a week, and
Right.
I work from 10 till 11 at night.
Yep.
You know, a whole 13
Yep.
hours every day, and still get very frustrated and maybe not have achieved quite what I wanted to in that day. And like you said, you're gonna miss out on a lot of things. I've been playing shows where I haven't been able to make my own family's birthdays or gatherings and stuff like that, or go on holiday or anything like that. I've had to pass on all of those things as well. But it's the price you pay to do kind of what you love, I guess. So you have to really, really love it and be sure that you want to do it, because you're going to have to make big sacrifices otherwise. And if you have any sort of uncertainty in what you're committing to, it won't work. You have to be 100% all in there, ready to throw yourself at everything. Hop on a plane to LA tomorrow, you know?
100%. 100%. And I think that's really cool that, we're on opposite sides of the ocean. I'm here in New York, and it's the same experience. It's the life of the musician. It doesn't matter where you're from, who you are, who you know, you're still going to be making those sacrifices.
Yeah, definitely. Everyone has to do it. Yeah.
Awesome. All right, a couple questions outside of music, because I always think that's an important facet to this. A lot of people who know us as musicians, as you just so eloquently said, it's all encompassing. It's a 24/7, 365. When you close your eyes at night, you're out of business. And then when you open them again, you're back in business.
Yeah.
But we all need things that are outside of music. Do you have any books that you love, video games, something you collect outside of
I mean,
cooking?
the main two things for me, fitness, health and fitness, and my cats. And that's it. I really like to work out. I never used to. It's been kind of it within the last year. I've become really, really into working out, going to the gym. Not at the moment, obviously.
Yeah.
Other than that, I really like horror.
Yeah.
And like paranormal stuff, So I spend a lot of time watching videos on that kind of shit. Conspiracy, UFOs, like I'm really into that sort of thing. But how I relax and unwind is likely just working out, honestly. Yeah. My life is just music and fitness, that's it.
That's you sound exactly like my girlfriend, actually. She's personal trainer and music, and it's like,
really?
And I think that's important. 100%. Yeah, she's in here too. There she is. Oh, she says, "Do you like Supernatural? Do they have that show there?
Yeah.
Supernatural."
Oh wait, what? The show? I've never seen Supernatural.
There's a show. Oh yeah, it's a good show. I'll send you a link to it after this. It's a good show.
I'd love to check it out. Yeah.
But I think the fitness element is important, because at least when I was growing up, like if you were a musician, it had this connotation of this sort of slovenly, smoking pot, drinking beers, playing guitar. And it's like, if you were the star baseball player, you couldn't be the shredding guitar player. And I think now all that crap's out the window. And I think you see these very physically fit musicians, and they recognize the grueling lifestyle of being on the road. Like, you have to get the right amount of sleep. You got to work out. You got to get the protein.
You
so
have
that's
to
great to hear.
really look after yourself. don't always get the right amount of sleep and stuff, and it is hard, especially like if you're on the road and playing a lot. It's hard to take care of yourself properly, but you really have to try your best and try and help yourself. Don't fill yourself with like junk food.
Right.
You need that energy, and also like I find if I eat cleanly, my head is a lot clearer to be productive. And if I work out, then I'm a lot more productive. You know, I think it's an important balance. Yeah.
100%. I mean, I've been vegetarian and then vegan for, I think it's 5 years now, 4 years, 5 years.
Yeah,
and that changed a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think I've been veggie/vegan for just over, wait, how old am I now? Was I 18? 1921? Yeah, like 3 years.
That's awesome. Great. I didn't know that. Awesome.
Yeah. And the thought of eating meat repulses me now. I can't eat,
Right?
like the smell of it makes me feel physically sick. I can't now. Just can't.
Good for you. Awesome.
And I feel so much cleaner for it as well. So.
But wait, how do you get your protein?
A lot of different ways, actually. Chickpeas,
right?
protein shakes.
There you go.
No, it's very easy.
It's doable, kids.
It's so easy. That's such an old-fashioned way of thinking, and I actually get more protein now than I did when I was before. Anyway.
There you go.
So, you
Fantastic.
know, it's funny. Yeah.
Gosh, that just made my day. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Somehow that comes into the conversations a lot of these times, and you can tell like people are like, "Oh yeah, all right, this guy." I'm like, no, I'm not pushing anything on you, but you know, it's a conversation. I'm gonna, but that's great. Very good. Awesome. All right, let me see. I think I got one more on here.
Cool.
Well, before I do that, thank you, obviously, for this. This has been so cool and so comfortable and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been nice to meet you.
Yeah. So I would, with the time zones, it's hard to sometimes line these up. I did one with Ryan Roxy.
A couple of times.
Yeah, but it worked out, and that's fantastic. It's been amazing. Is there anything that you have coming up or coming out that you want to plug and talk about?
Hopefully soon. What that is, I'm not sure. I'm working on a song, and I just need to get it mixed and mastered now, and I'm hoping to shoot a video for that.
Cool.
And then get that out ASAP. But basically, watch this space. I'm working on stuff really hard, but it has to be right ultimately before it goes out. So just watch this space, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Everyone subscribe. Lots of cool stuff. Can you grab the Custom 24 so we can just see that up close?
Yeah. Hold on. I'll show you the blue one first. Someone said, "Can I see the blue?"
Some of the blue one. I saw that. Oh, that's the new SE with the.
Hollow body.
How is that?
Razor.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. It's very, very cool. The tone is amazing and it's super loud, and that blue is just to die for. It's so bright. It really pops. And then the custom is here.
Oh my gosh, you're wearing a Ride the Lightning t-shirt. Awesome. That was my first Metallica record.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
It needs a setup at the moment. I don't know if you can hear this. Wait, can you hear how buzzy it is?
Yeah.
Can you hear that?
Yeah.
That is just. I recorded the rest of my the song that I'm soon to be releasing on it literally last weekend, and over the last week, it's just something's changed. The truss rod has moved or something, and it's just gone. So yeah.
It's the seasons. Like I have all my guitars in this room at the school, and it has a humidity control because otherwise it's. I mean, it's so humid outside here today in New York. Yeah.
So easy.
Yeah.
You got to be so careful. I also changed the tuning, so it wasn't, and I need to change my strings. It just needs a setup. It's fine.
I'll grab this one here. So, this would be my number one here.
Oh wow, that's beautiful. Wow.
So it's McCarty. It has the rosewood neck. I saw this in an ad maybe back in 2016. And I immediately reached out and I was like, "Hey, can I get one of those? Like whatever, like I'll pay full price. Like I can't find this color." And the Bev at PRS, she's like, "It's not gonna happen." And then I found this on Reverb last year, and I bought it immediately. When I got it, I looked at the hang tag, and it was manufactured on my birthday, not the year, but my actual birth date. So it's like meant to be, right?
Oh man, yeah, it's gorgeous. Beautiful.
Thank you.
Oh man, I want some more cool models.
I like the McCartys because they're just a little bit thicker, and then like I'm not very good with the whammy bar stuff, so it's just solid.
I'm not either. I don't always use it. I use it sometimes, but I like hardtails as well.
Yeah. Diversity. I got a buddy of mine, and he's like, we're guitar players together, and we're always looking at gear, and he's like, Rob, why'd you get that one? I'm like, because I don't have one that did that thing, so now it does that thing that I couldn't do before, and it's like such a stupid bullshit excuse.
Just need another.
Well, right? Yeah, more is better. It's that thing. How many guitars do you need? One more than you have right now.
That's the answer. Always. That's great. I'm gonna use that. The next time someone asks me that question.
Another trick too. This is one my dad used to do this when we were kids. We would go to the music store with a guitar case, and it'd be empty, and we would come back with that same case, but there'd be a guitar in it. And my mom, for years, didn't realize that new things were coming home.
Oh, darling, how long have you had that one? I haven't seen it in that color before. Oh, yeah, forever.
Right. I'm telling you, it was insane. I copped to it like a couple years back. She's like, "Did you really think I didn't notice?" I'm like, "Well, you didn't say anything, but."
That's so fun. That's a great game.
All right, well, I'm gonna let you go. I think I've asked everything I got on my list, and this has been so cool.
For having me. Yeah,
thank you for being here.
This
has been incredible. The people in the comments, they're loving they're calling me Fred Durst because of my red Yankee hat, so I won't be wearing that again. Yeah, so I did it all for the nookie. It's cool.
Wisely. You know, whenever you put yourself out here, you're asking to be roasted for everything, right?
Yes, roast away. It's all good. I had a great time. Me
too. It was great to meet you.
You too. Stay safe, and then hopefully I'll get to meet you at some PRS event down the road. That'd be incredible.
Yes, 100%. That'd be great.
All right. Thank you. Have a great weekend.
Bye, everybody. Bye. Bye.